in a very woman-centered world, which I was very excited to kind of be that, because I feel like Star Wars is very, like, patriarchal.
Hey guys, Scripted here with another video. Another day and another Hollywood snowflake that just can't move on from the reality that they were part of a project that was not very good, and of course are directing their anger in the complete wrong direction. There is a direction they could go, whether they should or not, but they definitely should not have gone this direction. Oh boy, why don't they just go away? The Acolyte actor Jodie Turner-Smith, unhappy with Star Wars series cancellation, hopes fans stop having a stick up their arse about people of color being a part of IPs that were created by white people. That is an incredible statement. Incredible statement. And I would also reiterate something I've said in the past, that the more established actors that were in this show, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but they've kind of kept quiet. They're not running around yapping. It's Amandla Stenberg, it's her, it's a handful of people. Manny Jacinto said it would be nice to do a season 2, but that was it. He didn't attack anybody or act like an idiot. This is an extremely insane statement. It actually, to me, stop having a stick up your arse about people of color. So this is a very unappreciative statement. When you think about the way she says that we're created by white people, Star Wars was created by a white guy, and most of the people involved in the production of it were white people. Yes, that is a fact. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. White people are allowed to have stuff and do stuff, just like you are. And by extension, certainly, people of color, like this used to be, I hate saying that, whatever, POCs have been involved with it as well, which is fine. Nobody cares. I don't get the strange viewpoint that somehow because you assume that not liking the Acolyte has something to do with your blackness. There's a lot of really good black characters in a lot of really good shows, and your character sucked. Your character contributed to breaking lore that made people very angry. So that's why it's not your skin color. And I don't get how people can live like this, constantly just obsessing over their skin color all day. It's like that's all they think about. It's nuts. I don't know how people can live like that. What a crappy way to live. Not only is the Acolyte Jodie Turner-Smith generally unhappy about the Star Wars series' swift cancellation, but she also appears to believe that a majority of the criticism level towards its widely panned existence was based heavily, if not solely, in racism. That makes a lot of sense, Jodie, because there's never been shows with black people that have been successful, that people actually watched. Nobody watched The Acolyte. Maybe that's why. And so is she saying that people didn't watch The Acolyte because America's just racist? This kind of reeks of this idea that I'm black, therefore I'm entitled to have society deem my project as good. That's what this feels like. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what this feels like. Because of my skin tone, you must like what show I was in. Either that, or this is just beyond stupidity. Like, she's an extraordinarily dumb individual. Because there are so many shows that had lots of black people in them, that were some of the most successful shows of all time. In like the 80s. Cosby Show was in the 80s. It's one of the most successful shows ever. It's pretty much all black people. So what, is America more racist now than it was in the 80s? And if it was racist in the 80s and the Cosby Show still did what it did, and it's still racist now, then your show could have still did what the Cosby Show did if it was any good. And you had the Star Wars label on it, which should have made it automatically more popular. But it wasn't, because it sucked. Jodie, it sucked. And you're not entitled to a good show just because you're black. But that's honestly what it feels like. Even with Amandla Stenberg, it's almost like they have this mentality that, like, black people were oppressed, so therefore you have to like our show or you're racist. It's like an entitlement. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I'm like, that's what it literally feels like. Turner-Smith, whose character of Mother Anastasia appeared in the series as both the leader of Deuteragonists, Maya Nosh's resident witch coven and the twins' virgin birth mother expressed her disappointment towards the Acolyte's reception during a recent interview with Glamour UK's Iana Murray. Yeah, there you go, Jodie. There you go. Making Force users in a witch coven. 85 years before Anakin. Virgin births. Virginses in the Force that were supposed to be special to Anakin. Makes people mad. And I mean, I even said in my reviews, this aspect of it didn't even make me that mad. Because it wasn't the same as Anakin in the sense they're using some form of witchcraft. So I could kind of get over it. I just thought it was corny and lame. And I thought it was really weird that this, like, coven of, like, 50 or whatever adult women just really wanted some little girls around. Like, there's no other kids there. That was weird. Like, there was literally no other kids there except for the two girls. So I was just like, what? So anyways, so that didn't bother me as much as it did other people, but I can understand why a lot of hardcore fans saw that as a total insult to George's story. I was more concerned with the fact that Sith showed up and we're fighting Jedi, and now the Jedi are liars, and they wrecked the lore, the Phantom Menace, and now the Jedi are basically liars and covering things up. That was more the thing that bothered me. And like I said, I just thought the witches were corny and weird, but whatever. Amidst a general discussion regarding her recent career moves, such as her time portraying the role of Gracie, the Dragon Queen, in the Apple TV series Bad Monkey, and her current experience filming Showtime's upcoming British spy thriller The Agency, the actress eventually turned to the topic of the Acolyte, which she began by recalling how upon first meeting series lead Amanda Stenberg, the young woman gave her a full-blown essay regarding her own personal take on the inner lives of the series' characters. Okay, so you're working, Jodie. Like, you're working. You know, it'd be stupid enough for you to make a comment like you made if you couldn't find work. Because you're just, you're panicking and, you wanted the season 2 to get that bag. It would still be a really stupid thing to say, but, okay, you're panicking because you need some cash flow and the show got canceled, you got nothing else going on. Okay, whatever. It makes it less stupid, even though it still remains fairly stupid. But you're working. So why would you even say anything? Why don't you be a pro like the Squid Game guy? When he was like, yeah, it'd be really cool to do a season 2. I'll do it if they want to do it. We'll see what happens. Pro. Done. No emotion. No me. No, I'm entitled to be on this show and entitled for it to get remade even though it had low ratings. Nobody watched it. I've never worked with anybody who's handed me an essay on their character, said Turner Smith. The Virgo in me was just like, yes, I'm living for this.
Yes.
That's funny. They even put yes. Like they didn't even put yes. They put yes. Okay. Anyways, however, her excitement would ultimately be short-lived, as having now broached the subject of her time in the galaxy far, far away, Turner Smith would recall, Amanda put so much care and thought and love into that, and it's disappointing to feel like your studio is not having your back in a very public-facing way. So Amanda Stenberg did some work. Okay, so she did some work and she tried to understand the characters, and that's, a part of your job, and it's probably good to do that. And so because she did some work, she's entitled to another season? What is with this entitlement stuff? No one watched it. You're not entitled to anything. And putting in some work is just normal. That's normal stuff. Who is the little girl that played Ahsoka in live action? What was her name? And she actually admitted that she hadn't really done anything leading up to it. I did a video about that where I can't remember exactly, but she's something about, she watched a few episodes or like hardly did any work, like didn't know anything about it. Something like that. I can't really remember, but I mean, so what? So you put some work in and the show got canceled. That's life. That happens all the time. I do contracting work, and it doesn't always go that well with a client necessarily, right? Now, I'm not the owner. I do the work for the owner, but it doesn't always go swimmingly peachy keen for the client and him. There's problems along the way. Things happen. And sometimes, the client says, well, that's the last time I'm hiring this company because they didn't do the job I was hoping they would do. That's life. Like, you're not entitled to just get those jobs. To this end, To this end, the actress then called on Disney to stop doing this thing where they don't say anything when people are getting effing dogpiled on the internet with racism and bullshit. It's just not fair to not say anything. It's really unfair. No, it's not unfair. You say something. Show us the receipts, Jodie. Show us the receipts, Amandla. Show us the responses. I would think that if somebody was saying really, really racist comments, you would take screenshots of those comments, would you not? Would you not have some form of access to those comments? They're on your feeds. But you guys never do that. So what is this? Because if it was really that bad, you would show us how bad it is. So that we know who these people are. And if we see them in our comment section, we can either block them or whatever. But you never, ever do that. None of you do that. Which makes it fake. I'm sorry, it's fake to me. I'm not just going to believe you because you say things. I don't even know you. I wouldn't even believe my friend if he was like, oh man, all these guys are racist, they're commenting on my thing. I'd be like, holy crap, bro, let me see it. And then he'd show me. Right? He'd show me. Because he'd want me to see it. Because he'd want me to understand the claim that he's making. And the reality of it. And the grotesqueness of it. But you guys don't do that. So what's the purpose of this? So now you're going after the company that hired you. Are you essentially saying, I'm entitled to work for your company and I'm going to make you hire me again for something else because you didn't stand up for me and I'm going to make you look bad? Is that what you're attempting to do? It sure seems like it. And if I'm Disney, I'm going, you are never working for us ever again. F off. It's not up to us to, be your psychologist. And even them, they're probably like, oh, is this stuff true? Like, have they seen the receipts? Because I remember they came out, what was it? They made a statement about Moses Ingram receiving racist responses or something on Instagram or whatever. Well, there was never any receipts. Moses didn't ever show any, and neither did Disney. Maybe Disney was like, after that happened, was like, okay, so we didn't actually see any of this stuff, so maybe Moses was exaggerating because she was just upset that people didn't like her character and lashing out. So maybe we'll just keep our mouth shut from now on. And unless we are shown the proof of it, we're not going to comment. Because I have no doubt in my mind, if Jodie Turner-Smith handed them a piece of paper or sent them the images of these really bad tweets that she claims are happening, or really bad whatever responses, and Disney could show them and comment on them, I have no doubt that they would. No doubt in my mind. I would if I was an employer. If there really was like really grotesque, racist things that were being said to my employee through social media, and that employee showed me the proof of it, I would absolutely defend them. I'd say, guys, this is ridiculous. Of course. But I think what happened was, like I said, I think Moses Ingram made the claim, never showed the proof. Disney defended what they thought was the reality and never really found out if it was. And like I said, they probably went, well, maybe we'll just back away from this until somebody actually proves it, because maybe she's just mad that people don't like her character. And this is the same thing. Mother Anastasia was a dog crap character. Dog crap character. I don't even think her acting was bad. Her acting was fine. But her character sucked. The witches sucked. Her dumb wife sucked. The thread sucked. The whole thing was ridiculous. Yeah, and she turns into a fart. Like, one of the most convoluted scenes I've ever seen. And then it's the Jedi's fault that he stabbed the fart while the fart was turning her daughter into a fart. Like, he doesn't even know what's going on. All Anastasia had to say is, yes, she can go, but instead she turns into a demon fart. It's just the stupidest character ever. But it's racism. It would just be nice if the people that have all the money, this is where it goes. It's all about entitlement. Were showing their support and putting their feet down. She further lamented, say this is unacceptable. You are not a fan if you do this. make a really big statement, and just see if any money leaves. Whoa. She's crazy to be going after the company. I bet you it won't, because people of color, stop saying that, and especially black people, make up a very large percentage of buying power. They might find that it's actually more lucrative for them, but everyone's using woke like it's a dirty word. Jodie, what are you doing? You're pooping where you eat, girl. I would never hire you again. Are you out of your mind? Again, show the proof. Even other black people, they're not just going to trust you because you're black. They want to see the receipts too. Like, just because you're black doesn't mean you're just entitled to say stuff. Other black people, just like everybody else, are going to be like, okay, well, what did they say? Show us what they said. It's this weird skin entitlement thing that's just weird. But wow, to go after Disney and basically claiming that they don't care about black people, essentially. This just, what an idiot. Be professional, shut your mouth, move on. You've got work. Maybe they'll hire you again for something else. They probably never will now again. You're not a fan if you do this. Do what? You haven't said what they did. And black people make up a very large percentage of buying power. Yeah, I mean, based on population, it's probably 15% or something. It could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? That's roughly America, 15-16%, which is a lot. I mean, you know, when your profit margins are whatever they are, 10% or something like that, that's a big deal. But what a stupid thing to go after them. She continued. What are you doing, you idiot? Opinions change. What's in vogue changes. We're going to get there at some point to that place where people stop having a stick up their arse about people of color being a part of IPs that were created by white people. You know why? Because we're never going to effing stop participating. Okay, I've already commented on this except for this last part. Because we're never going to effing stop participating. No one cares if you participate. No one cares. Especially in Star Wars. The only thing I know of where somebody made a point that kind of made sense to me was when they were like, why would Finn be a stormtrooper as a black guy? Because the thought process was that, you know, George wrote the Empire as sort of this white, homogenous, you know, anti-alien, discriminatory organization. And then when you watch the movies and in the originals, it's all white guys. There's not even any women. It's all white men, which I thought kind of was cool. It's like, you know, they're like kind of like the Nazis, right? Like they're not going to have any women in there. They're not going to have any people, you know, POCs, like they call them now, any of that in there, which kind of felt authentic. It added to their evil that they're just like, see themselves as like superior in part based on their genetics. They don't outright say it, but you can see it on screen and you kind of get that in your subconscious. So so somebody saying why was Finn a stormtrooper when he's black, I can understand why somebody would ask that question. And I think that turned into supposed racism as well. Even though, to me, that is a valid question. I don't really care that he was a black guy, ultimately, but in Star Wars, I mean, you could have black people anywhere. It doesn't matter, really. In Lord of the Rings and stuff, you got to be careful because you're dealing with previously established lore, but in something like The Acolyte, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter having minorities. Like, nobody cares. The show just was crappy. And you're never going to stop participating. Well, obviously, you've always been participating. Black people in movies is not new, Jodie. Like, what are you talking about? Black people have been in the entertainment industry for, like, 100 years. At least. Holy crap. Like, what are you talking about? It's so insane how entitled that you think you are. Just because you're black. That, oh, we should get a second season and we're doing this to fight the cause, so who cares if you're losing money? You have all the money, right? Who cares? Do it anyway. It's the cause. No, the cause is over. It's been done. It's been done for a very long time. You are just another actor. You're a cog in the wheel, cog in the machine, and that's okay. Make your money, but shut up. You sound like an idiot. You and Amanda need to go frolic together in the wilderness, because you're both a couple of idiots. We don't get to fail upwards like a lot of white men. Oh. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Like a lot of white men. You think a lot of white men are failing upwards? You know who's failing upwards right now? Leslie Headland, who's now show running another show after the complete and utter disaster of The Acolyte. She's now put on another show. That is a white woman who's a lesbian. She is failing upwards. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know if you've never experienced, like, I don't know, getting fired. I don't think you have. Because your show got canceled and you're throwing a hissy fit about white guys. Which is ironic also because literally you wouldn't even have had that show if not for a white guy. Like, it's just the entitlement is so beyond comprehension. Did George Lucas fail upwards? Or did he create something amazing? Fought with other white men and studios that had no interest, by the way. It's not like we have this big cult where we're like, oh, he's white. Well, give him all our money. Like, what are you, an idiot? He got rejected by every other studio, all white guys. What are you talking about? And then he managed to get his movie out, and it boomed, and then he did the rest of them himself because he had the money. That's not failing upward. That's just being creative and pushing through and fighting for what you believe in. And on the same token, there's tons of people, white or whatever, that get fired from their jobs and have to start over and sometimes have to reduce their lifestyle and try to build themselves back up. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. They get sick, and then they have to spend their life savings trying to get better, and then they have to start again. This idea that just white guys are just failing upwards all the time, that's just absolutely ridiculous. I think you're racist, Jodie. I do. I think you're a racist person. I think you're very entitled, and you think that your skin color entitles you to tell Disney to make more show for you, to make more money, and to defend your supposed oppression that you haven't proven. She concluded, just feel that some people are allowed to grow and others have to be perfect, and if they're not perfect, even when it's great, people want to effing tear it apart. Why are you so mad? Just cussing and stuff? Holy smokes. What do you mean be perfect? I don't know anyone that is blaming you for how crappy The Acolyte is. You did your job, you had a role to play. Within the context of your role, you were fine. You didn't write it. The idiot who wrote it is the one failing upward right now. Okay? Not the white guy who built the entire IP. He built it. She fails upwards, right? Because she's Leslie Headland and knows where the bodies are buried or something. I'm sure Manla and you're getting work, right? So what are you talking about? And if they're not perfect, even when it's great, it isn't great. Like, why don't you just accept that it's shit? Carrie-Anne Moss exited stage left. Like, she knew it was crap. In fact, if you watch her in interviews talking about it a little bit, right? Because she did a few before it came out, and then she's, they're taking photos. You can just tell on her face. She's like, oh, this sucks. Whatever. Let's just get this over with so I can move on with my life. She's said nothing about it since. Because she knew it was dog doo. She's not dumb. She's been in enough big budget production sets to know and dealt with storylines and characters. I'm sure she was on set filming this stuff going like, well, what are we doing here? I guess I'll just collect my money and get the heck out of here. It's not good. It's rated badly. No one watched it. Why do you think you're entitled to say something's good that you were in when it wasn't? Why don't you just accept that it wasn't good? Why don't you just say, I did my job, I'm an actor? Who's that actress that just came out and said that a few months ago? And it was really refreshing. Oh, Sydney Sweeney. They said, oh, what do you think about people criticizing the Marvels? She said, well, I didn't write it. I'm paraphrasing. But she said, well, I didn't write it, and I was just in it. I was doing my acting job, so that's fine if they want to do that. That's professionalism. Don't attach your skin color to The Acolyte being a bad show. Look to the person who made the show that is failing upwards, and that is the person who got it canceled, Jodie. It wasn't you. It was her. But for some reason, and I guess it's just the woke culture, you can't say that Leslie did a bad job because she's a lesbian, maybe, I don't know, or she's a woman or whatever. You just can't say it's her fault, which you shouldn't say anyway. You should just be professional and say, oh, I was an actor, and like Sydney Sweeney did. But you feel like you can blame white men. Well, and you just finished saying that black people were like this huge part of the audience. Well, where were the black people? They didn't watch it either, Jodie. You just finished saying that they're a huge percentage of the audience 2 seconds ago. But if they were watching it, then you would have done okay. But they didn't watch it either. They're not going to watch it just because there's black people in it. Black people are just like everybody else. They just want good stories. Oh, there's a black person in it. I better watch it. No, nobody does that. White guys we don't do that either. Oh, there's a white guy in it? Watch that. Oh my gosh. Like, what planet are you on? What bubble are you in? What world do you live in that you think that that's a normal way to look at things? It's crazy. And it's definitely racist. She's racist, I think, personally. That's what I believe. And if you're going to just, everything's white men's fault, like totally unprofessional, totally unhinged. This person's an imbecile. All she's doing now is hurting her own career, just like Amanda. It's all they're doing. It's just going to make people not want to watch their stuff. Anyways, very unprofessional. They just don't get it. It's not about race. We're pushing an agenda about storytelling. Yeah, she's just hurting her own career. All the comments are saying, she's... Guys, let me know in the comment section what you think. These people are out of their minds. This is the mindset of the young actress now in Hollywood. This is how they think. If they don't have immediate success that they feel completely entitled to, whether they're part of a bad show or not, they feel entitled to have the show go as long as they damn well please because of their skin tone. And if they don't get what they want, they blame white guys. It's white men's fault, instead of looking literally to the person who made the show. Crazy stuff. What a loony bin. It's funny and sad at the same time. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check out everything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.